Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Shostakovich's most embarrassing work. Now, I've been looking at the comments, and I've noticed that some of you have been sharpening your talons or slathering with your fangs dripping over the opportunity to sink your teeth into Shostakovich because, he lived during the Soviet era and did a bit of socialist realist folderol. For example, his oratorio, The Song of the Forests. And I do not personally regard that as his most embarrassing work. It's certainly not a great work, and it's in a simpler, more crowd-pleasing style. But Shostakovich was as capable as anybody of writing music which suited the political climate of the times. And I don't think he has anything to be embarrassed about for that, because doing that allowed him to write all the stuff that we value today. It kept him alive. So, we have to be a little bit merciful, I think, when it comes to those things. And I don't think he has anything to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be ashamed of in those pieces. You might pick some of the early ballets, like The Bolt or The Limpid Stream. Ugh. Even Shostakovich had horrible things to say about the subjects of these ballets. Actually, the librettist of one of them was killed by Stalin or something. So, it all worked out in the end, I suppose you could say. But the story of The Bolt, Shostakovich put it, there was a machine. Someone threw a bolt to mess up the machine, which threatened communism. They caught him. Everything turned out well in the end. That's the story of The Bolt. All three acts of it, which is absolutely crazy. And The Limpid Stream, it's even more ridiculous. It's about a ballet company that's sent to a collective farm to cheer them up during the harvest with some high art. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the music, the music is early Shostakovich. It's fun. That's the music that got him in trouble with Stalin. And anything that got him in trouble with Stalin, it's got to be okay with us, right? Don't you think? They aren't the greatest ballets in the world. Certainly not. But they're also nothing to be humiliated at, nothing to be embarrassed about. And they're, musically speaking, second rate at times. Okay. Lots of composers do things that are second rate. They're not embarrassed. Tchaikovsky's suites for orchestra are second rate Tchaikovsky. Nobody disagrees with that estimation of them, but we still enjoy them now and again, and he doesn't have anything to be embarrassed about. The fact that he wrote them. No. Shostakovich's most embarrassing work is, obviously, the 12th Symphony. It couldn't be anything else, because, first of all, Shostakovich, by the evidence of his other works in the medium, really thought that the symphony was a big deal. That's first. Second, we know autobiographically that Shostakovich was horrified at his own 12th Symphony. He was close to suicidal with hysteria over the 12th Symphony. And the reason may or may not have anything to do with its musical worth, but it has to do with the fact that he was basically ordered to write a hymn to Stalin and the Soviet regime and all of this stuff. He sort of was supposed to do that with his Ninth Symphony, which he never did, and got in a lot of trouble for that. And then he wrote the 11th, which was socialist realist, but it turned out to be too socialist realist. It was too dark. It wasn't happy. So he was ordered to correct all of his sins, or something like that, the story goes, and finally produce the grand choral paean to communism that he'd been expected to write. And then he came up with the 12th, which he thought was garbage. I have mixed feelings about the music of the 12th. The first movement is very exciting. The slow movement is aptly dark and mysterious. The third movement isn't a scherzo. It's an introduction to the finale that winds up with, a salvo of, the battleship Potemkin going off, or whatever it's supposed to be happening there. That's not what makes it his most embarrassing work. What makes it his most embarrassing work is the finale. And again, and I can't stress this enough, whether you like it or not is irrelevant to this estimation. So I do not want to hear in the comments, oh, I love the 12th. I really like the finale best of all. I don't care. It's his most embarrassing piece of music. Why? Because it's called The Dawn of Humanity. Ahem. First of all, the very title is embarrassing. Let's not kid ourselves. But second of all, that this little pastoral, frothy piece that he wrote to be the dawn of humanity. It's this incredibly simplistic rondo, and it's based on really thin thematic material. Da 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 da. That's the tune. It's a non-tune, and then it closes with this insanely bombastic coda. Dum bum bum. Oh, it's just ridiculous. And this is the dawn of humanity? That's embarrassing. That's really embarrassing. No matter how you slice it, musically, programmatically, it's embarrassing. And okay, so he did it. He embarrassed himself symphonically in the medium at which he was an acknowledged master, which was the vehicle for some of his deepest, most profound thoughts. And just think of what happened before with the 11th, the 10th, which is maybe his symphonic masterpiece, the 11th, which is socialist realist, yes, but dark and troubled. And then next, Bobby Yar, and the 14th about death. And in the middle of it is the dawn of humanity. His most embarrassing piece, for sure. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.